Are we recording?
Yep.
All right, we're up.
We're live.
All right, how we doing, Jonah? You like your Red Bull? You enjoying your Red Bull? You ready?
It's
Yeah,
delicious.
exactly. We're set. We're set.
It's the pink edition, which is pretty good.
What even?
You can try it.
It's literally called the Pink Edition.
It's good.
That's awful. That is terrible. That tastes like cough medicine, dude. Oh. No, you gotta stick with the original. Try that out. It's way better, dude. Sugar-free is way better, though, in my opinion. It's okay. Tastes like gasoline a little bit, you know?
The original is pretty good. Except for when you spill it all over yourself.
All right, so we got some questions for
We do.
Jonah. Let's see. And no, these were definitely not taken from ChatGPT.
No.
We didn't do that. No. Don't sue us, please. So we're actually going to start with the first question. What role does faith currently play in your daily life? And I feel like that's important to discuss. So anyone who's struggles with that in their daily life can kind of see our perspective and kind of be influenced by that in a way. So I'm actually want you to guide that off because it's kind of crazy. I don't really know your whole thing with God, how it plays daily. Like I know how it has in the majority of your life, you know, but like daily, how do you practice with God? Do you wake up and pray? How does he guide you through the day, if that makes sense? I've never really asked
I
him.
mean, I think as far as daily activities go, I guess you could say. I mean, definitely Bible reading, prayer. I don't necessarily have set times in the day where I pray. I just kind of pray
Well, yeah, when it
at
feels
any
right,
point. Yeah, whenever I need to or whenever I'm not doing anything, you know. Sometimes that's one thing I've tried to get better at is cutting out distractions. Not as much TV, not as much social media,
100%.
just spending more time literally staring at a wall or staring out the window, and it just gives you time to think and to pray, and
Well, 100%.
it's good practice.
Like in the gym, many times actually, you know, between sets, and this does cause a lot of anxiety actually, between sets, I will look immediately, like not in a millisecond of time, right at my phone for 2 minutes during my rest time.
Yeah.
And scroll. Sometimes I'll like be playing on the home screen, not even doing anything, just to avoid interaction.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference. Ever since I got with God, you know, I just look around and I kind of feel present in the moment. Because a lot of people, especially in our generation, because we did it in school, you get this urge to look at your phone, the immediate reaction. That's like 99% of people now, even
Yeah.
adults now.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's actually a really bad problem.
Parents, grandparents,
Well,
everyone.
because
does
we
it,
used to
yeah.
be forced. I mean, God literally created community and we created isolation, if that makes sense. We've created many ways to isolate ourselves while God wants us to connect. Why do you think church exists? You know, we're supposed to connect. We're supposed to be a community. We created that isolation, and I think that's a big problem. I've had both types. I've had fantastic isolation. I've had really bad isolation. And there's two types. And the majority, 95% of people, I would say right now, unfortunately, are doing bad isolation, which means not getting up from your bed, sleeping in, wanting to scroll all day, you know, feeling trapped in your mind. And a good saying is the devil's favorite playground is being idle. That's his favorite time to play around in your mind, mess with you, all of that. That's what I've noticed. It's what I felt like. If I'm not constantly on the move with God wants you to do, God wants you to go work out. He wants you to be healthy. He wants you to be smart, read, learn, improve yourself. Satan likes you idle. Because then you start getting in your thoughts a little more.
He likes you complacent.
Then you start believing you're pathetic, and he likes hearing you say that. You know, it feels more and more like that. But when you're on the move, constantly making improvements, you're not going to be perfect in a day, but you will be happier, I think, on the move if you keep doing that.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. I mean, I think isolation can be fantastic, and I'm doing good isolation now, which sometimes, you know, I'll have too many distractions from friends, and I really need to focus on my stuff I want to do, you know, and I can take a day and fully focus on that, and then also have community after that. But I've had bad isolation, especially COVID. I would just sit days in there, and I thought it was just my own bad thoughts, but no, it was Satan playing tricks on me, and that's what I've realized more and more. But yeah, I was always curious about your role with just daily prayer, everything like that. I've never really asked you about that, so it's actually really interesting.
I think prayer in the evening is really kind of my set time in the day. Just before I go to bed, I just take time and I pray, and that's just that over the years has been kind of where I feel like I've really just developed or just really made decisions in certain directions. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to really commit myself to following God versus just kind of being more of a complacent Christian.
On the fence about it.
You know, a lot of that was done like at the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then I think another aspect of daily faith is just the little things, you know, that just throughout day-to-day life, how you treat people,
Right.
you know, how did you handle this conversation with this certain individual, and things like that, I think play a really big part in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I actually think it's less genuine, and you might agree, when people try to schedule certain times for prayer, like it's like an appointment. Like some people go like, oh, I'll do it in the morning and then maybe at night or whatever. I'll do it throughout the day. Yeah. You know, if I had a good workout, I'm thankful for that. I had a good meal, I'm thankful for that, and I pray. It should be communication. Praying shouldn't just be you talking. It should be you actually communicating with God.
Yeah.
Because at first I was just doing the generic prayers, and I kind of brought this up in last video with you and Rod. You know, I'd be chasing him for a while, but I was doing generic prayers until he finally answered one day when I talked to him. Not like he's a robot. You know, I talked to him like full on, like Jesus is in front of me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when the relationship started. Because Jesus doesn't call the perfect. He doesn't want the perfect to show up.
Yeah.
You know, he wants you broken. He wants you to show up broken because he can heal you. He can fix that. But a lot of people think they need to be perfect before they go to God. You know, and they got to fix everything first. Absolutely
Not the case. Yeah.
No,
if that were the case, none of us would be going to God. If that
We'd be
was the case.
screwed.
Yeah.
We'd be done for, right? That's the whole point why Jesus came down. That's the whole reason.
Yeah. But there's no perfect way to pray, you know, and definitely for some people
might be like that.
They need the discipline of like having a scheduled time in the day, or like just set times to refocus on God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think scheduling is bad or anything.
Yeah.
You know, like that. It's just some people can get lost in that. Where is it really you trying to communicate with God, or
It
you
just becomes the motions,
or is it just you saying the same kind of thing every day? My whole thing was is God wants to hear you out in honesty. He already knows your thoughts, what you really want to say. Like, be honest. Like, I've been ticked with God many times, you know, and I've said it to him, and he's helped me through it, you know, many times. So if anyone's struggling to just kind of holding things back, God already knows what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Just say it, you know, be honest about that.
Yeah.
He will help you out. You know, if you're upset with him about things, bring it up. If you say, you know, like, I need more guidance, say that. Like, just say something, but don't just do the generic kind of prayers people will say. You know, truly try to communicate. That's what prayer is supposed to be. Truly communicate.
Yeah. Open yourself up. Don't be afraid to.
Don't close
be
yourself
honest.
off. You know, because a lot of people will close themselves off, and then they'll say 1% of what they really wanted to say. The rest 99 will always be kept in their mind. But God sees your mind, so might as well just say it. In my opinion. But
Get it out in the open. Okay.
that was a good one. Let's go to the next one.
Well, actually, first, how does faith play a part in your life?
It's everywhere. So when it comes to just, for example, I want to own a business. I'm working on a business. It's having faith in your business is everything, right? Like, I don't need to be scared. I don't need to have fear that it won't work out, because I just trust God will make it work out. And if it doesn't, then it wasn't what God had planned for me, and that's okay. But it's faith for everything. I pray after the gym, after a good meal, after a good night's sleep. Even if I have a really bad day, you know, I'll still be grateful because I'm breathing, you know.
Yep.
Every new day you wake up is a new day that you were saved from salvation. You know, it's a whole new day. So it gives you another chance, you know, because you could show up tomorrow, and if you were on the fence for your whole life and Jesus shows up,
Yeah.
it's kind of over, you know. So that if you wake up and Jesus hasn't come back yet, and you can still get that chance, you know, that's a blessing. That you should be grateful for that. That's a whole new day. So that kind of outlook has changed a lot. Yeah, you'll get bad days, but if you have that outlook, I mean, mindset's kind of everything in life, and that'll help you a lot out.
For sure.
But in life, faith is everything. I just have faith in Jesus completely. He controls my life. I want him to. And I'll still struggle. I'll still have a lot of setbacks, but having Jesus as your backbone, you can't really.
Hey, join the club. Everyone's got setbacks.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're always going to have that. But for everyone, just don't be don't be perfect. Don't wait to be perfect to get with God. That's the worst thing you can do. He calls the broken. That's what he wants. You know, if he wanted you to be perfect, Jesus would have never showed up, and God would have kept it how it was, right?
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Let's go to the next one.